Welcome everybody, and I just want to say how excited we all are to be sharing new things with you today, and also to be spending time learning from some of the amazing stories that you will hear from some of our customers who've done amazing things with their Jadu platform. There's three things that I'm going to focus on. I'm going to talk about strategy, we're going to talk about products, and we're going to talk about accessibility. And we're going to focus on how those three things, I suppose, come together to this new mantra that Jadu is, I suppose, flying the flag of. The website is the CRM. Now, I guess, quick show of hands, who uses Amazon every day? And you don't have to be nice because Amazon are in the room. Well, look, whether you use Amazon to buy a product, or whether you use it to stream video, and I can guarantee you all use Amazon because 100% of Jadu's services are all on AWS. So in fact, all your hands really should have gone up if you're using the Jadu product that's hosted by Jadu. But I mean, when you buy something from Amazon, you know, Amazon will tell you when your product, when your order has been received, right? You get an instant email saying, thank you for your order, got it. Then they will send you a notification when your item has dispatched, right? And you'll either get that through Lex, or you'll get an email, or you might even get a text, depending on what your preferences are. And then, of course, Amazon will tell you when your parcel has been delivered. You can even track your parcel right to the end of your driveway. So why shouldn't, if the customer's expectation has now been set, that that's their interaction with digital, why isn't it possible for us to do that in service delivery? Whatever it is, whether it's reporting a pothole or raising a social care case. Well, those technologies are all available to us now in platforms which have become very popular, in low-code platforms, and there's three key components to that, right? So you've got web content management, and everyone here has a web content management system. It's kind of why I suppose you're using Jadu technology to surface websites or build apps or whatever else you want to do to manage your user journeys. Of course, forms and transactions and payments are key to all of that, so they all form part of the user journey for customers. And then case management, so customers can track and trace, you know, sort of the cases that they raise with you. And that is all wrapped around the user experience, right? And so UX research, service design, all of these things to map out user journeys that really work for customers. We all spend a lot of time talking about all of that stuff. So that first, I suppose, system of engagement is the first interaction our customers have. And then, of course, those connections happen with our teams, right? The different services inside our organization, the departments that, you know, that do all of the magic of shipping products and logistics and delivering services to citizens. And that's all connected by our productivity tools. It's all to help us collaborate and help us be productive. We have these back office systems, don't we? Some of them are lovely and some of them are nasty. And we all know which ones are which, don't we? But all of them in the modern context have APIs that we can integrate with. So if we zoomed in just a little bit on that, what is it we're doing, right? What is it we all do in this room, apart from the different functions of creating digital? We create connections. We connect our community of our users to our services, and that's our job, to take the friction away from those connections. And so who are our community? Well, there are businesses. So for example, vendors or suppliers that need to access their invoices or their statements. How easy can we make that to happen? So the logistics of running the organization and running the business needs to be smooth and slick. They're still part of our community, a critical part of our service delivery. And then of course you have customers, right? I mean, that's why we're here. You know, we're customer-driven organizations. We deliver service to customers. And so whether you want to call them customers or residents or students or constituents, however you want to address them, they're our user community. They're a big part of our community. And then, of course, we have our teams, our colleagues, you know, the people that we work with every day, the superheroes in customer services, all the people out there on the front line who are doing the hard work, and all the people in the business making things work and mapping out processes and trying to continually improve. That's our community. And what do we do for our community? Well, we connect them with stuff, right? Things, assets. A pothole, still an asset that can be tracked and managed, a street light or an overflowing bin, things. And we also connect them with data, with content, right? So files, images, copies of letters, statements, and that sort of thing. So essentially, we're in the business of connecting communities, and that's kind of what we do as daily bread inside the organizations that we work. So last year, we shipped a new product called Community Central. It is a product that Brightly, now owned by Siemens, sells. And basically, it's a deep integration with Confirm, I suppose one of the world's, or if not the world's, leading digital asset management system. And that integration is available to our entire customer base. And we're very proud to have Kent County Council here. We've got Rotherham Council here, and East Sussex Highways and Balfour Beatty here as well as first adopters of this new product. So let's just take a quick look at Community Central.
Introducing to you Community Central, the new low-code web experience platform from Brightly, providing comprehensive public access to assets stored in the Brightly Confirm asset management system. Powered by the Jadu digital platform, Community Central enables your organisation to connect with customers and communities to deliver real-time service management in a way that is open, mobile, and accessible for all built by your teams using the low-code tools within the platform. All of this ensures customers, communities and businesses around the world stay connected to the things they care about. So, let's take a look at an example by creating a fully integrated, intelligent pothole reporting process using Community Central. As a citizen, I want to report a pothole on my road. If I'm at the scene of this menace, I can allow my phone to use my current location as accurate reporting data. If I'm not at the scene, I simply find the location using a traditional address search assisted by quick results. On choosing the address, the map presenters display me some useful real-time layers of information configured from the Confirm asset management system. The green lines indicate scheduled work such as road resurfacing, with start and completion dates. Useful because if the road is due to be resurfaced, I probably don't need to report the pothole. The blue lines indicate any upcoming road inspections conducted by the local authority's highways team. So again, I probably don't need to report this as their crew is likely to identify and repair it in due course. But most usefully, I see already open pothole reports in real time directly from Confirm. I see the case reference number, the description given to it and its current status. This is the same pothole. I definitely don't need to report it. If I'm not being prompted there's no need to report it, then as a good citizen I should go ahead and report a pothole here, which navigates me to an online form required by the council to process the case and is tailored to the council's specific data requirements in terms of questions and logic through the low-code forms builder featured in the platform. And so I report the number of potholes, how deep they are, which can increase the priority of when they're repaired, plus any other useful information, with the option of supporting pictures or video. Forms can be set up to allow anonymous submissions, but also pre-fill my details if I'm signed in to my account, helping the highways team contact me should they need to. Plus there's the choice to opt in to receive updates on my case and my preferred method of contact, such as email or SMS for real-time feedback. I choose updates via SMS, which will be sent through the authority's gov.uk notify account in this instance. A final check of all the details, hit submit, and that's it done. Next I receive a confirmation SMS message, and a thank you message displays the case reference, plus a link allowing me to track the progress of my case. The Community Central case interface uses an intuitive timeline of all interactions made by me, the local authority, or any third-party services from the beginning of the case. Now back to that mapping interface. If I search for that same road again, I can see the pothole I just raised and its current request received status. Any other citizens viewing this area will see this and be unable to report the same pothole. Now as a customer services user, we sign into the case management feature within Community Central to view the case. This internal view of the case was automatically populated by Confirm, including the case inquiry status and number. But should customer services need to make further updates, a handy View Inquiry link on the case ribbon gives us access to Confirm. All the information about the case, the photos and videos, etc., were dynamically populated via an automated integration at the point the case was raised by the citizen, ready for the Highways team to conveniently review and process this inquiry, in line with their normal ways of working, directly within Confirm. Now, as a Highways team member, let's update this inquiry within Confirm by adjusting its status and adding some suitable notes to the inquiry and hitting Save. Once saved, the Community Central case timeline is updated with a new customer-facing status of To Be Fixed. So the changed inquiry notes and status are automatically integrated back into the case, informing the customer services team, but also automating the updates to be sent to the citizen, such as via an SMS update. The next community-minded citizen that wants to report this pothole will see the status Job Raised, so they know it's being taken care of. The creation of an end-to-end digital service for pothole reporting and repairs. The Smart Way. Community Central. Intelligent connections for closer communities.
So that's what a real deep integration looks like. And potholes have never looked so sexy, have they really? I've never seen 100 people so hypnotized by potholes before. So we've connected people with stuff, right, with things, assets. In this case, it was a pothole, but it could be anything in the real environment, from something in a building to something in the environment in the street outside, something in a park or whatever. We've connected our community to things, but what about documents? What about content that's important to people, like their bills or their invoices or statements, or any letters that they may have sent you in the last few weeks? How do we enable people to self-service to all of that content without calling you up and then you having to look at a file somewhere deep in a document imaging system? Well, we partnered with Hyland. They are the world's largest, most significant document and content services provider on the planet. They have 26,000 global customers, and some of the biggest customers in the world use OnBase to manage their documents. So let's just have a quick look at the out-of-the-box integration that Jadu has with OnBase.
Are you looking to enable self-service at your organisation? What would be the positive impact on your organisation if your users could check the latest OnBase workflow updates for themselves? Well, it would improve user experience and increase operational efficiencies. Hyland Content Portal, powered by Jadu Central, is a web content management and e-forms platform that enables internal and external access to secure account portal pages. Your customers, partners and constituents can be given the ability to access secure documents, submit forms and attachments from any device, all secure, mobile-friendly, accessible to WCAG 2.1 and integrated with workflows, powered by OnBase by Hyland. Let's use an example. As one of your suppliers, I want to submit an invoice. I simply log in, fill out a few questions and attach my invoice, review the information provided and hit submit. These answers are converted to a PDF, combined with the attachments and automatically sent into OnBase. When I visit my account, I can see all the historical documents that I have access to, and I can see the current status of each. I have the option to download a copy of the document, or I can take action on any of the items that are marked for my attention. For example, to provide some additional information to a previously submitted invoice. These secure forms can also be pre-filled with keyword values held in OnBase. Once the form is completed, all information stored by my account is automatically updated with the latest information held in our base. Hyland Content Portal, powered by Jadu Central, a single solution to improve the way you deliver services and improve customer experience.
So we've connected people with things, right? With assets. We've connected our community with documents, with images, with files. But what about our teams? What about the people who actually we collaborate with every day and sort of work alongside to make the machine running of our organizations? Well, I'm super proud to announce that we've partnered with CGI and the City of Edinburgh Council to produce a brand new intranet product called Jadu Central Gateway. Edinburgh had 4,500 employees who didn't have a corporate email address. Now, I'm willing to guarantee that there is people in your organisation who don't have corporate email addresses simply because it's not practical, right? And they could be people in street cleansing, they could be people in waste management services, they could be people in adult social care or even children's services. Areas where maybe there's a high turnover of staff, and those Outlook counts are super expensive, aren't they, really? So 4,500 people at Edinburgh did not have access to HR policies or digital services internally. And of course, this was a huge cause of friction. And in this day where we're all working remotely, people are now using their devices to interface with productivity tools. Super important to make sure we remove the friction from them as well, because of course, happy employees makes happy customers, right?
Large organisations have an intranet. On it are documents, including HR policies and health and safety information that employees require access to, legally. Many employees will access it simply from their workstation within the corporate network. No problem. Some employees, however, frontline operatives in transport, cleaning or catering, for example, will not use a corporate email address, but they still need access, right? Jadu Gateway is the solution for large organisations that want to provide their teams and employees with secure access to important information and forms wherever they are, even if they don't have a corporate email address, removing the frustration and legal issues many organisations may face. A quick gateway overview looks like this. Intranet pages are exposed to the web, but content requires a login, plus two-factor authentication. Manage IP address ranges to access the intranet without the need for logging in. Invitations to access the intranet are managed in the control centre. If not actioned within a reasonable time period, invitations expire. Users can also be temporarily disabled to prevent access. All this is very easy to manage and maintain with Jadu Gateway. So let's take a quick look at just how easy. Intranet pages exposed to the web, like this one, require login. So let me do just that. And as we're using two-factor authentication, I'll jump to my email and retrieve the required code just sent to me. As I'm using a trusted device at the office, I'll check here so I don't have to do this again and hit submit. Now I'm authenticated and returned to the page of important information I needed. Super. I now have full access to the intranet's documentation and forms as I've passed through the firewall. So with that, let's jump into the Jadu Control Centre to look at intranet access and how we manage user invites. We'll see a list of all the previous invites sent and their accepted or expired status. Let's create a new invite. We're presented with a simple form to complete to add our new user, and we can see our new invite and their pending status. Looking again at this invite, we see the basic data, including when the invite expires, and through the Actions menu, we can disable any user because they're on sabbatical, for example, or delete them because, well, we can also resend the invite should it expire, meaning the user will receive a new invite email, asking them to complete their registration. Simply asking them to create their new password, which in turn logs them in straight away. Easy. With individual user invites demonstrated, let's look at the bulk upload option. Put simply, we can upload an already completed CSV file. In the Actions menu, we can download an example to help get us started with that, which matches your chosen preferences. Let's choose the file, add a notification email. I'll use mine, so if the import does fail, I'll get an email highlighting any validation issues, for example. And with the Previous Imports tab, we have an upload history for the administrator, should they need it. So, with invites to users without a corporate email address completed, let's turn our attention to IP range access. So here we have the ability to define or set up our IP ranges, so users instantly bypass any authentication, in effect creating a whitelist, of which we can have as many as necessary. It's that straightforward. With single user flow and IP restriction flow covered, here ends our quick demonstration. Unlock the power of secure intranet access with Jadu Gateway.
So Edinburgh went live just last week, and a soft launch, so they're doing a few hundred employees at a time. But by the end of this month, they'll have all 4,500 employees now accessing all of those policies, those HR policies and those digital services internally from their mobile devices, which is fantastic. So that's Gateway. There's two more things. Would like to introduce Jadu Spotlight, something that we've developed in partnership with Rochdale Borough Council. This is a widget for Photon sites, for Photon-based Jadu implementations that you edit once and change everywhere. So if you go to rochdale.gov.uk and you have a look at their homepage, you'll see these lovely little user journey adverts and signposts that have been very carefully crafted to take you to different destinations. You can deploy it on a homepage or a landing page, but then you can change it, and wherever you've deployed it, it will change everywhere, making content management for those critical user journeys very easy. And then finally, we'd like to introduce Jadu Signals. Now, we spoke about Jadu Signals about, I don't know, maybe 4 years ago at Jadu Academy. And there's one council in this room that have been obsessed with personalization, I suppose, since then. And we've partnered with Harrow, the London Borough of Harrow, to create this framework. And they're really, I suppose, the users who are showing us what to do with this technology, right? So Signals is basically a framework that allows you to take points of data and personalize based on those points of data. So in this example, you've got a widget that would be a homepage advert, and you can use a signal like the weather, for example, it's sunny outside, or the device's location. So I'm in Harrow, it's sunny outside, and maybe what the Harrow homepage is going to show me is things to do in the area when it's sunny. Equally, if it's snowing, it might direct me to, I don't know, going to the theatre, for example. And it's that method of crafting a user journey based on environmental factors or signals. What Harrow have done is taken that to a way deeper level. So in housing, for example, for rents and for repairs, they can display content based on those signals. And Ben's going to do a demo of that. The concept car future vision of local government digital is actually being built by Harrow right now. And it's a proud moment for us to have seen that. It literally blew our minds when they showed us what they'd done with Signals. And now that framework is being built into the core of Jadu Central, thanks to Harrow. Okay, so folks, it's the last slide from me. It's the moment you've been all waiting for. Now, I always say every year at Jadu Academy, there's got to be explosions and there's got to be rock music, right? So let me introduce. It's never loud enough, is it? There you go.
Okay, so for anyone who's not familiar with what they're looking at on the screen right now, so this was Jadu Central, the combination of the CMS and the Forms product that was released back in October of 22 was the first version. And what we've got on the screen here is the 1.1 version, which actually released back in February of 23 as well. Over those couple of releases, we added the new branding, the new visual user interface, SAML support for both the front-end users without the Connect platform, and also SAML configuration for your control center users who are logging in to administer the system. And then in Jadu Central 1.2, released in April of 23, we released quite an important feature, because this was actually one of your top voted features on the Hello Next platform, which was for form failure action notifications to be able to be automated to you if there was ever a problem with any of your action templates, with any of the forms that you have configured today. So here you're able to select particular actions, who should be notified about those, whether it's a daily digest or an instant alert. And as well as you're able to pause those, temporarily mute them. And they're also put into a particular status so that you can effectively manage them and report on those notifications as well. So quite an important feature if anyone's not on that version yet, that it's worth just knowing about. And that brings us up to date, really, in terms of then what we've just released in the last couple of weeks is the Jadu Central 2.0 version. So I'm super excited to kind of give you the details of that as of today. Now, this really adds support for the PHP 8.1 and Symfony 5.4 versions. So this really brings us up to date in providing you longevity in terms of community support and improving on the security of the underlying platform. We've also, not on the slide here, but we've updated the Galaxy system to remove the standard support for 1.0 TLS and 1.1, so that just allows you to support 1.2 and onwards as standard. And there's also some other configuration options behind the scenes that allow you to improve the security of the standard Galaxies available. We also added support for read-only Redis architectures, and that's really as part of our high availability platform and hosting offering, whereby we can improve the general performance across that offering as well. We also, for anyone who's not familiar with it, we've been putting our changelog and release notes about all of these versions up on our Hello Next platform since Central was first released. And as part of 2.0, we've really pulled that feed into the software now. So you've got this rich visual interface that you can see in the top right corner in the notifications of any of the changes that we've released, and give you at the fingertips information about those releases and what's changed. And also, we've released and updated all of our manuals and documentation, all the visuals, all the functionality and features have been updated. And also in here, we've got the Central 2.0 update and release guidance on how you do upgrade to that if you are self-hosted at all. So that's available now as well. We do have developer guidance included in here, which is important for those moving to Central 2, because there is, as part of this, we've changed the requirements of the underlying platform with the PHP and the Symfony support. So if you have any local developments that your teams have done or undertaken over the last few years, then you'll want to review this guidance and allow time for your teams to be able to review that custom code and make sure it adheres to these updated versions of the language and the framework. So where we're at the moment in terms of the Central 2 rollout is we're working with our early adopter customers now to actually get this rolled out into production. So we're in the process of that with a select few customers at the moment. And what will happen then is we'll do a support release with any early feedback or findings from those first few customers. And then we'll move into conversations with our fast followers, which is the next group of people from August. And if for anyone in the room that's currently an Esri Locator Hub user in terms of LLP, LLPG, address lookups and so on, you would be considered as part of that fast follower group, because we need to get you upgraded because Esri have announced the end of life of the Locator Hub product for the end of this year. So we need to help you along the way and in good time to allow you to update your relevant forms, case types, and so on. Helen will cover more on that in the product update a bit later on. And just as a reminder, really, so I think it was in March 2018, we first announced that we would be end-of-lifing the classic form builder. We will be removing the classic form data and the classic forms features and functionality as of the Central 3.0 release. Now, our estimated release date for this is around about Q4 2023 for when we'll actually get the release out. And then we'll follow that same process with the early adopters and fast followers and so on as part of Central 3 releasing in the new year, therefore. And for anyone who needs additional support on that, please, grab Ambrina, Arabella, myself throughout the day, and we can talk to you about how we can support you in that effort. There is a report that's available in your control centres and has been for many years now, which will allow you to actually go into the software, click the form builder version, say you want a report. So what forms are currently active that are actually using the legacy form builder? So you can generate that and start to work on a program of removing those from the software. And just moving on to the Jadu Connect platform quickly. Obviously with Connect, multi-tenant SaaS service, it is updated more frequently than the central platform ordinarily. So I'm not going to go through all of the different releases that we've put up there lately, but just as a couple of pointers on those. So 1.7.5, we've released new field-created and updated webhooks, and also, importantly, the click-to-call functionality that we've worked with Runnymede on in partnership, and there'll be some sessions on that a bit later, around click-to-call functionality, available through a telephone prefix effectively throughout the software. In 1.7.7, we introduced localization improvements around data formats and so on, because we actually made the Connect system available in the Australian space for that market over there. And actually a shout out to Wanneroo, obviously they're not here, but they went live with their Connect instance as the first Australian customer of that platform as of Friday last week. So they've just gone live, which is great news. And then in 1.79, we improved the message queuing capacity improvements, and we're actually at 180 now, which is where we've been working on some, again, PHP 8 and Symfony framework improvements, which we'll be doing over the next couple of months. And that really then takes us into a number of big feature epics that we'll be working on within the Connect product. And Andy Green, I'm not going to steal his thunder because he'll hate me for that if I do that. So he's got the product update section a bit later on, and he will cover the first major epic feature that we'll be picking up, which is the subscribe to case feature, which we've been interviewing a number of you in the background about that functionality and what you would maybe use that for. So he'll cover more on that a bit later. Stephen and Lunda will cover the telephony integration in their session a bit later on. So again, I'm not going to steal your thunder there, but that will reference some of those click-to-call features that I've just talked about there. And then Ben will cover how we've leveraged the Jadu Signals framework from Harrow, how they've used the first version of that. And then Sarah in the product session a bit later on, we'll talk about where we're going with that as part of our roadmap moving forwards.